Dear ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you on behalf of the AUTOSAR Steering Committee to the AUTOSAR Release Event 2021. My name is Günter Reichert and I am the current AUTOSAR spokesperson and the moderator of this event. The still ongoing corona crisis does unfortunately not allow for face-to-face meetings, and we have to have, therefore, again, a virtual meeting. But most of us are meanwhile well accustomed to this kind of information exchange, and I am pretty sure that you will gain a lot of insights on the progress of the AUTOSAR standard. There will be opportunity to raise questions or to comment the presentations in a Q&A session afterwards. As you all have experienced, working under the conditions of corona pandemic poses severe challenges to all of us. The more we are proud to present the achievements which the AUTOSAR consortium has made, and I would like to thank all partners and experts which have contributed to this big step forward. The AUTOSAR mission is to develop and establish the standardized software framework and open E/E system architecture for intelligent mobility in a global partnership of leading companies in the automotive and software industry. To achieve this, AUTOSAR has to deliver the software framework in time and quality. Continuous improvements and new features as an answer to upcoming requests are a key for our future success. Openness to collaboration with third-party organizations will also guarantee that AUTOSAR will deliver with its two platforms the decisive building blocks for future vehicle systems. The classical platform is already in widespread use, and its continuous update is based on its worldwide experience and your feedback out of practical application. The new adaptive platform has already found its first serious projects by some OEMs, and I am absolutely sure that it will become the same success like the classical platform. The compatibility of the two approaches and their common elements as part of the foundation form an excellent base to reach our vision. AUTOSAR will be the global established standard for software and methodology, enabling open E/E system architectures for future intelligent mobility, supporting high levels of dependability, especially safety and security. As most of you will know, AUTOSAR is not a classical standard with just paper documentation. Instead, it is a living standardization with continuous quality improvements and feature enrichment. The release event is every year dedicated to present the result of this continuous effort to enrich and improve the AUTOSAR standard and to partners and to non-partners. But now let's come to the agenda. What we will present in the next hours is an introduction of the new release and their relation to the classic platform and adaptive platform, as well as to foundation, as well as to methodology. Rinat Asmus, BMW's representative in the AUTOSAR Steering Committee and current chairperson of AUTOSAR, will give an introduction to AUTOSAR and will provide an overview on the new features and their relation to the broader context of AUTOSAR standardization. After his introduction, we will have 4 presentations which will explain the release in some detail. We have clustered it by safety, communication, classic platform enhancements, and requirements management. The presentations will be given by Huzaifa Saadat, Speaker of Working Group Safety, Richard Huber, Speaker of Working Group Inter-Vehicle Communication, Oliver Garnert, Speaker of the Architecture Group for Adaptive Platform, and last but not least by Toni Schmidt, AUTOSAR Requirements Manager. Rinat Asmus will follow these speakers with a glimpse on releases planned for 2022 and on the further directions of AUTOSAR. Afterwards, we offer you a Q&A session in which you can raise your questions and our speakers will answer these. And please use for your questions the chat function on your hobby. We also offer you 1 hour time after the Q&A session to network and to exchange thoughts with colleagues and with the AUTOSAR community in our networking area. Here you can get also additional information if you are interested to become a partner of AUTOSAR. Now I would like to hand over to Rinat.
Thank you very much, Günther. And I'm also very happy to be part of the release event today. And it was a great introduction by our spokesperson for this year. And as you see, the winter is coming. I'm here in Munich. It's snowing. And it's a good sign also for the community that the release is something we can really touch and can have a look on now. So everybody of you is invited to have a look to the release. It's on the website, and we are, as usual, in time. But first, I would like to present again a small introduction to the organization for everybody who does not know us. And AutoSAR is, of course, for years established in the automotive industry, and we are a standardized software framework for open architectures, and we are also a global partnership. You can be sure that if you're standing next to a vehicle all over the world, there is a classic AutoSAR platform built in, and it's a good feeling that the safe platform is something that everybody of us can be built in future. And our vision in future is to be more visible in the sense of methodology, but also for safety and security. You know that the UN ECU regulation 2025 is becoming reality for all of us for driving homologation requirements for security. So we attach that to the safety corner and say that both requirements are very crucial to have future mobility solutions in place. Of course, besides that, we have the normal collaboration model between the OEMs and the supplier. Nobody can create a whole car by themselves. Even the startups who are starting now have troubles to get the expertise in time, in place. So we need suppliers, we need the methodology, which is distributed among a lot of domains, and to be there in time in our serious development and also in our cars. So everyone of this party has his own benefits coming from the consortia and creates a timeline for the ECU projects they have internally to build future cars and mobility solutions. And looking now to the all over the world perspective, AutoSAR was established in 2003, and in this time there were just some core partners really collecting the current ECU platforms they have. They were based on microcontrollers and said, let's find something common. And we then included more and more partners. We are around 300 at the moment. That's a significant number for organization, which is almost 20 years old. And we standardized here in almost 20 years. A lot of technologies, a lot of IP is flown to this license. So everybody who's jumping now on the train has already a good state of development, or a good baseline to continue their thoughts for the future. If we now have a look on the, let's go one back, yeah, a little bit more specific on the partner side, there are different partnership types. So the 9 core partners are acting as the founding member and the historical partners inside of AutoSAR. We are also fully responsible for everything that happens in positive and negative aspects inside of this organization, and try to establish the community for the premium partners, development partners, and also associate partners, which I would like to address today especially. Those partners are not really connected to our whole development, and once a year they get, shortly before winter, this information, the release is there, and they can build up almost 150 of them, their products based on that. So this is the scaling we are thinking of. We have development among premium development core partners, and then we scale it to the associate partners that are exploiting the standard in a broader manner. So also not to forget the 27 attendees are non-profit organizations, but also universities we are very grateful to have to bridge the knowledge to the younger generation, where AutoSAR must also be established in future. And how do we organize that? So the co-partners are bringing in the management levels for governance and also strategic parts, but also technical topics such as in the project team discussed are very crucial to bring in the release in time as we see it today. The big help is coming from the working groups. The working groups are self-organized by working group speakers. We see today some of them, and they are really having good thoughts about how to establish their specification, how to attach the demonstrator to topics, and are intrinsic driven by technologies they see as required to AUTOSAR. And the working groups itself, so it's already a very huge package we are covering, because it covers the whole system engineering aspect, which is like cross-cutting among classic and adaptive. This is the two platforms we are standardizing, and you see that in the upper part, what's called the lead working groups are the 4 working groups really having a part in the change control board and also bringing in the changes and discussions forward. We have then groups such as TSY for time sensitive time synchronization, and of course vehicle to X, for example. They are handling both platforms in parallel, and there are also specific working groups such as persistency or RTE for classic. So you see that in the lower part, left and right part. Every partner, development and premium partner and co-partner are able to participate in this working groups by their own strategy, their own intention, and build up products based on that. And of course, our goal is then to provide a release end of the year to all of the partners and make it for the community, very understandable, but also applicable to an efficient manner. So let's continue to the challenges we see in the automotive industry. I think we can kind of decouple that by decades. And if we look on that, the complexity is really increasing. I think the next big challenge is, after having vehicle computers connected and on the road, we see zone architectures really something that's important for us, that more than one highly integrated cluster is created, like an ECU with a bigger computing power. And this is something we see for 2025. So the requirement is coming earlier than the decade, but also the complexity, I think, is challenging. And but we try to tackle that, of course. So if we have that, what's the benefit for it? The benefit is to have the software platforms that AUTOSAR is providing created in a holistic manner, and we include also non-AUTOSAR platforms to it, like on the right side in the gray part, and in the middle there is an adaptive platform, and on the left side you see a classic platform connected to it, for example, with a protocol such as SAM-IP or another communication based on signals. So we are very interested that this whole package is in good quality and has its own specific requirements coming from the OEMs to the relevant timeline. Okay, so let's jump on one of the platforms. We have the classic platform that is mostly coming from the microcontroller direction. That's why functional safety was a natural born feature for this platform. So I think certification up to ASIL-D is possible without with some like efforts that the supplier must to bring in, because product relation gives also more details. But in fact, the functional safety aspect is the most efficient and most important for the classic platform. Second one is efficiency. We try to make it very near, very hardware driven. So you, in the sense of latency, you get very good real-time behavior. That's we see that in a lot of inverter machines at the moment on the road already, and it's field proven. So we see a broad supplier field from the supplier. Check that we're going to the right direction. We don't want to go back in time, right? There you go. The field proven part is really covered with the supplier field, because if you go for an call out for like an RFQ, you find more than 5 suppliers for that approach, and it's delivered then with the suppliers in a good quality, and the performance also in the sense of scaling and configuration is also remarkable here. The next thing is an earlier standard, I would say. The first releases were established in 2017, so we have like 4 years development time of the standard. And for this point in time, I'm pretty sure we are good in shape, because it's already on the road, at least with 2 OEMs, and we have security and safety as a major concern here. Because it must be connected. The security parts are at least as much as important as safety for the future. So we call it dependability to tackle the next features for the future. And topics like IPsec, SecOC for in-vehicle communication, but also the platform. Yeah, I recognize this this telephone ring. Then we have the platform-related features, such as cryptography, or end-to-end protection for service-oriented communication, which are very crucial to establish a good software platform. And the detail as external communication. So as you see today, we are live. So everything that happens comes directly to a lot of viewers, and I appreciate this kind of format, because I think gives a very natural and good view, which must also connect then to the adaptive platform, because if you connect yourself to more protocols for the future, your system gets more integrated. It's easier to integrate in a cluster, in a SoC, and that's why we are looking more and more in organizations that are like next to AUTOSAR, like RUS, like AGL, RESTish APIs, and Covesa. I think that's the new name of Genevi, where to connect to in a better manner. And the last part is updates. Some of you might receive some notifications when you come to the car that there's a firmware update or an update running, and some of the OEMs are providing that in a confident way already. I think that's one of the, we shouldn't miss this feature. I think coming from the mobile world, there's a clear need for that. And if we then compare classic and adaptive, and you would like to create a system, the demands on safety are much higher on classic side. On the other side, the whole real-time requirements are lower on adaptive side, but you get a bigger bandwidth, a bigger computing power with this kind of processor-based architectures. So I think this is the giveaway from my side, if you'd like to choose. But we see also we are part of an ecosystem that kind of is changing. Everybody's talking about vehicle as buzzwords, I would say. But the point is, we don't have to argue that. We are part of almost every vehicle as approach at the moment. AUTOSAR is inside of the car as technology, and although you are not using the platform, you might use one of our protocols, such as SumIP, which are based on the AUTOSAR standard. And that's why I think the middleware layer, it's very natural to AUTOSAR to be part of that. Here we need to interact more with third-party organizations, as I mentioned before. But also in the second part after the technology overview of the release, I'd like to show you some future aspects, what kind of building blocks we would like to cover in future based on this overview. Yeah, that's one of the thrilling remarks I'd like to keep for this point in time. And if we have now, yeah, let me try to click, sorry, there you go. Perfect. The outlook itself on the release, and this was a smooth release, I would say. We had all in all around 1,800 change requests. It's a huge number by a huge community. And if we start from the foundation, the biggest, I think, impact was especially on the safety corner and security corner. So we see secure harmonization, secure onboard communication and the transfer protocol for log and trace, which is very useful, but also the system health management, which is a safety feature tackling the health indication over the whole system, and also a unified timing approach. The time is a crucial attribute for the future systems, as it also includes the safety perspective. And based on the classic platform, we experienced that a lot. And now we need to bridge that to service-oriented communications for the future. Last but not least, let me double check that with the next platforms. Yeah, next slide, please. Click. I'm trying to click at the moment. There you go, it's working now. All right, so we have Classic on the left side and on the right side, the adaptive platform. If you look on the overview of the release, the Classic platform had some crucial, like from the homologation direction coming requirements, such as OBD on UDS, but also some follow-ups on 10-base T1S. And we have the Classic platform flexibility, which also included some changes to the concept. And we see on every platform after my presentation, the working group speakers presenting a more detailed view on some lines, and including then architecture designs and decisions makes the whole system holistic again. For adaptive, the multi-tenant configuration made it this time. Last year it was shortly disclosed from the release because of quality perspectives. And this year we made it. That's a good sign. And the other side, the end-to-end for fields support is there, which was in the specification for sometimes a chapter, empty chapter. And now we included that as a specific part. We also have to say that the adaptive demonstrator is coming like 2-3 months after the release of the specifications, which means we are covering then the requirements that are coming from both platforms. And this gives us also a good possibility to look how this demonstrator is improving. It was a bigger step now on coming from 2011 to 21-11, and the number of lines of code increased, although the number of contributors kind of was in the same number. So no big. I think the people that are now acting for a longer time really contributed with a bigger effort, with a bigger demand, and that's a good sign for the demonstrator for a more focused, development. And you see also the adaptive platform is covering that with code as well, not only the specification. Specification is provided for all the other standards. And based on the adaptive platform, there's also some sensor interfaces, which are in collaboration established with the ASAM standard. And we try to merge that based on an ISO standard. And so there is a standardization around LiDAR, sensor fusion, and camera sensors for automated driving. This is, I think, a good document to start with, also for all complexity-driven topics for our future. So let's sum it up. What is 2111? It's a gift for you. It's a gift for everyone who is partner, and also might interest now the non-partners. We have here more than 2,000 included incorporation tasks, right? So over the whole 3 standards, we have 1,819 change requests elaborated in 82 months. There's a huge number, like 14, I think, I think it's 134 partners really elaborating in working groups, which is a huge community. And the lines of code is more than 300,000 on the adaptive demonstrator now. So let's give it 3 more numbers. We have 11 concepts included in this release. And at the end, we deliver then 2 platforms for one holistic system, which is, I think, the intention to the whole community to make quality, to make dependable systems for the future. And that's why I'd like to hand over at this point in time, and also bringing over in time the presentation to Huzaifa. Huzaifa is our working group speaker in safety, and I think also a strong person also inside of the adaptive community. We are great to have you here. Huzaifa, word is yours. Thanks.